Holly Cotton here, and I cannot wait to share this story with you today. So, I have one half of World Envision, which is a clothing brand, but they're more than just a clothing brand. And Marlon will actually go into all of that. But I wanted to get Marlon on the show because I think that he's inspiring so many people. Let me not uh, forget to say he's half of the two partners because I don't want Nick coming for me and being like, well, you said Marlon inspires people, but not me. So Marlon
No.
is half of the World Envision company. But I really wanted to get his insight on how it was with creating a brand, giving back, all of this stuff, because so many people are looking at them as, wow, maybe I can do this. So welcome Marlon Watts to the show. And like I said, Marlon Watts is the co founder and CEO of World Envision. And the brand's mission is to provide original designs and branded fashion apparel for urban youth who feel stagnant and trapped by what their environment tells them they can and can't do. So, one, welcome, Marlon.
Appreciate that. How you doing?
I'm good. We woke up this morning, so I ain't complaining. We woke up,
Hey,
we on the right side already.
hey, I understand. Hey, I feel the exact same way.
Okay, so that is such a unique mission statement whenever you're saying that you're talking to people that feel trapped by their environment. So, before we go into the whole how you guys started building your business, let's start with the mission statement and what you wanted your business to represent.
So like main thing, just being transparent. Like we didn't know that we was gonna have a brand that had a mission. Like it wasn't about that getting started. It was just about like making money and having like cool product. Because when we first started, we was just selling like you were saying those candy and iPhone accessories, and we was using the money that we made from that to buy clothes. So we was just like, since we spending money on clothes, why not just have a brand? So it was just us, just creating product that we was always doing a lot of different things: sports, skateboarding, making music, DJing. So we was kids that was always active. And it wasn't until like we got to college where we both went to Louisiana Tech, and I had a football scholarship and Nick had a top scholarship. But at Tech we got in the business accelerator program. And inside that program is when we really started to get around other entrepreneurs, and they challenged us on what was the mission of our brand. And that's when we really took the chance to think about it, and we realized that the reason why we wasn't able to grow and make this brand successful, because we was doing it since we was 14 already, and now we in college. And so inside of that program, we actually really learned our mission statement. Is when we really started to figure out our why. They challenged us because we wasn't in an environment with other entrepreneurs or other people doing the exact same thing that we wanted to do. So when we got in that environment, we realized it was just a lack of information and resources that we had that was keeping us from getting where we wanted to be. And that's when we came up with the mission statement that we want to provide original designs and branded fashion to urban youth who feel stagnant and trapped by what the environment tells them what they can and cannot do. And we wanted to be like examples of that. So, our brand was one thing, but we realized that people that felt stagnant and trapped, they needed those resources. So that's when we first started to create those YouTube videos, just updating people on how to market, how to grow their brand, how to have, how to transition their mindset. And then from there, we started to create a community of like-minded people. And now we're doing things like, 3-day brand accelerator programs. We have a inner circle program where right now we got one brand that reached 100K, and now we have four more brands that they probably like a month or two away from reaching $100,000 within the last 9 months. So we've been doing a lot, just involving the brand in general and the activate your vision, which was like it's the why behind our brand, because anybody could sell a product, but what we do on the back end of the product is what ultimately give it that value.
And I love that you said that, Marlon, because every time I get someone that is a successful entrepreneur, I always hear that some kind of way it comes out, whoever it is, no matter what, there is this mindset that shifts in order for you to be successful as an entrepreneur. And you said it as well. You said you guys were just going on with this hustle, and then you were like, okay, now let's figure out how to make this a business, because this could actually be something that is successful. And that's why I really wanted to kind of pick your brain and hear some of the things that you are educating the community about, because there's so many people that look up to you guys. I know I think it's like you always find what you're good at. And when I first started my company, I was like, well, you know what, I'm gonna sell some t-shirts, and then I was like, you know what, this ain't for me. So sometimes selling t-shirts is not for you, it's something else. So sometimes it could be education, or it could be finding what your passion is. So whenever you guys are educating people of that, because of course they see you and Nick and they're like, oh my god, that's what I want to do. I got an idea. I drafted up this t-shirt logo. I know I can make it. So what are some of the things that you start telling people to process when they think that they have an idea?
Main thing is tests, because like a lot of times we have ideas or concepts or logos, even or even names for companies, and honestly, it's not gonna stick in the market, because a lot of times we realize that just because we're one way, we think that everybody else is that exact same way. And in some cases, people are. We're one way, and we realize that we think that people are different, but in actuality, people are all the same in that same way. So, really going out and getting like actual data. And what I mean by that is, let's just talk about a t shirt. If you could start a t shirt company, I would, before I even if I'm just getting started, I would have maybe, three, four, five different designs, only have one, even if it's still a mock-up right now, and I would go out and actually get actual feedback on what one is the best, what I can change, what I can do better, and then from there, I'll go out and maybe samples, maybe get a few samples of each one. And now you get to see those designs in real life. And now I'll go back out and then I'll do even more tests. And then I'll go and see, maybe, okay, can I sell this one for 20? Can I sell this one for 10? So getting as much data as you can possible, figuring out what one sold the fastest, what one sold the least. And then I would narrow it down to having like one or two items, um, and I will begin to push that and focus on selling the message and the why behind my brand. Because once you have a viable product that people like, whether that's just this curved shirt that we have right now, that catches people attention. It's clean to people. People like it. Now, how I make this curved shirt bigger and more and make it sell more is now I got to give it a meaning. Because so now when you see this curved shirt, it means something to you, and you're gonna go share it and pass that same message on to somebody else. And now everybody, when you see this curved shirt, you learning the meaning behind it, and it makes you want to support it more. So the first thing I'm saying is go get market research with whatever you do. Go get some research. Like, don't make decisions based off of how you feel. Make decisions based off at least the information that you have been given. From there, keep everything simple. You don't want to do a whole lot. Complex fails, simple scales. So keep everything simple. And now, once you're keeping it simple, focus on building the message and the why behind your business, and spreading that word as much as you can. And then from there, look at, like, we just go back and look at everything that we're doing and just keep improving from there. So like that's gonna be the easiest way to, get started and maximize skipping some of those mistakes. Because a lot of times that's what we do. We create a logo for our apparel brand. We create a logo, and then that's the first thing that we put on our shirt. But we don't teach people to go out and put their logo on their shirt, because right now your logo don't have meaning to it. All right. Now, if you have two designs, whether that's like, okay, this curve is similar to a logo, and then we had our Jesus tee, because that was the first two shirts that we have. Now you give somebody like that abstract Jesus shirt, allow people to wonder what our business was, and people just love the design. It didn't matter if they knew what World and Vision was; they loved the design, which gave us an opportunity to teach them about what World and Vision is. All right. So that's what I would say. Like, do your market research, figure out what's going to be the best selling products, double down on the best selling products, reinforce those products with a brand message, and then go back and analyze the data again.
Hmm. And I wrote it down. Complex fails, simple sales. So I had
Simple
to write that.
scales, scales.
Oh, scales. Oh,
Scales, yes.
scales, which equals sales.
Yes, which equals sales.
Okay, I love that. I love that. And so I think that it's important that people do take from what you just said, because I definitely caught it, how you just kept saying bring it back to a one idea, keep original idea. And I think a lot of times people are like, oh man, no one believes in me and no one supports me, but you're selling 15 things. Hone in on that one thing first, let people support it, sell it, whatever. Or don't even have a face behind a brand, just sell it without a face and just push the brand. And maybe people don't like you, but they might like the shirt, but it's just that one logo that you have to sell. So I love that information. Thank you, Marlon. Now let's rewind, because now I want everyone to know the whole story. So, okay, so y'all sitting in class, y'all like, you know what? This might be something. We might be able to make some money with this or whatever. So you guys are sitting around. So how did you literally, like, how did you start making a first shirt to tell us where you guys are now?
So just first making a shirt was literally just me going on Uber Prints, was like a website that you could go on and create like custom shirts, and then they just ship them to your house. But we realized that it wasn't cost effective for us to grow. You know, we was paying $15 selling them for $20, $25. So then we went on Google, YouTube, University, and figured out that we just needed to go down to our local screen print shop. Went down to the screen print shop, and from there we just really was just selling, just doing it as a hobby. Like I told you, we got an accelerator and really accelerated the business. Ended up graduating from college and just going into the business full time. After college, we ended up opening 3 locations in Louisiana, which were kiosks where we, distributed out a lot of product. I mean, those kiosks was doing between 15, 20, $30,000 a month. And then once COVID happened, we had to shut down the kiosks, and we really transferred everything to going online. That's when we really started to create that content, get data. Instagram started to go crazy, and then from there we saw ourselves shipping out 500, 1,000 orders a day. Right now we kind of are, I would say scaled down. Main thing being like at that time we were selling a lot of 5.99, 9.99 tees, and throughout the past 6 to 12 months we've been kind of testing different pricing and stuff. So we haven't been going crazy with volume, but right now we getting back with just picking volume up. As costs start to come down. At that time, cost was rising, shipping was rising, and so we had to kind of like bring costs up to make sure that we met that demand. But now that we've been working with our vendors pretty solid now, so we're at the point where we're back scaling up. Like right now, the team's in is probably shipping out 1,000 orders today. So some hoodies that we had, and I mean right now just continue to push out the message. Like currently we're in our why fully, so I'm working mainly with the Activate Your Vision brand, continuing to help these other brand owners making YouTube videos and stuff. So we've been from kids to now running a team. I probably had over a time period a team of 350 people, 400 people that have then came through and helped us out in some type of way.
So whenever you give let break it down for me, as someone who maybe I'm gonna start, like you said, an apparel line or whatever. Okay, so how does that work to start a kiosk? Because I know that it's almost like whenever you're talking to people that are chefs, or they want to be that, I want to open my own restaurant, and you're like, wait, maybe you should start with a food truck first. So I'm sure that's like the equivalent of that. So were you doing like print on demand, or were you having stock? Like, how did you guys navigate that? Because you don't want to have so much product. You don't want to have 80,000 smalls and no, and you run out of larges. So how does that work when you want to set up a kiosk? How do you decide where you're going to get a kiosk? Like, tell us how that is, because I know people may not be up to where you are, where they can get a warehouse like you guys, but maybe they can get a kiosk.
Yep. So the main thing, the kiosk is just distribution. Like we look at when you look at distribution within the apparel industry, and probably within most of the industries, it's going to either be online or in person. All right, so online is in the air. You could go to the website and you could purchase, and it's what a lot of people, today want to utilize. They want to have these e-commerce brands, but we say all the time, brands are built in person. So brands are built off of one, starting by, if you just getting started, we call it the backpack method. So you should have shirts with you all the time inside of your backpack. Everybody you know should know you sell product. Everybody at your job should have product. Everybody at the family reunion should have product. You should be able to pop the trunk and have product. That's what we call the backpack method all the time. If you're just getting started, that may be where you at. From there, you gravitate to doing consistent pop-up shops. So now you finding different little markets within your area, whether that's the French market, whether that's the local clothing store, whether that's the invest fests of the world, whatever those events are, and you see success at them, you build a routine to always be at them. So if you are doing a pop up at the market and you make $1,000, don't wait to go back next month. You go back next week. If you could go there every day, you go there. If they have people there. So now you transition from backpack method to now taking yourself in, doing pop ups, and it may be where now it's 2 to 3 hours where you consistently making sales, because to grow your brand to be $1 million brand, you're gonna have to make sales every day. So now we taking you from making sales sometimes on when you meeting people to now setting up opportunities to make sales maybe a few hours a day, to now you're gonna see yourself starting to make money, and now you like, man, if I could be selling every day all day, I could take my brand to the next level. So then when you go to get to kiosks, you go into mall management. It's similar to getting a regular location. They're gonna probably put you into a lease. They offer. What I like about the kiosks is it is short term, so you could get up to a 3 month lease, 6 month lease. Of course, they're always gonna try to sign you to a longer lease, but you can negotiate, shorter lease times. And then the main thing is, like, what I really enjoyed was that we didn't have, the only thing we paid for was the kiosks, the merchandise, and the team members. You're not paying light bill, water bill. You're not paying Wi-Fi bill. So it's just a lot of overhead that you're not going to have to pay when you're doing those kiosks. And then the main thing is it gives you exposure. People come to the mall to buy stuff. So now it puts your product in a position where, somebody may potentially want to buy it, and you can now get your message and your story out there. So that's like the transition of how you even get to even deciding whether you want to do a kiosk or a store. And then once you have multiple locations, then you could decide where you want to go from there.
Mm, and that's so funny because I had one of the founders of She's Happy Hair on my show, and that's exactly what he was saying. He was like, when they started, he was like, I would have cargo pants on, and he was like, I'd be pulling bundles out of my pants at the family reunion, like, you know I sell hair, y'all know I sell hair, so it's so funny. I love that. But and look at them. They same thing, $1 million, multi-million dollar brand, all of that. So I love that. I love that. Okay. So the next thing I wanted to ask you about was just to kind of sort of sidebar on that you were saying about being you guys started realizing money was coming in. So at what point did you guys say, wow, like we really doing it? Like, was there ever a product? Did somebody have your shirt on in a video or something? Like, was there a one thing where you were like, wow, we really are doing the dang thing right now?
Um, I mean, I'm gonna say each and every day is more on the lines of realize that we're doing it because of the reaction of other people. So it's not like one moment where we was just like, we made it, but each and every time that we step out and go to different events, realizing that we're getting closer to the goal that we want to accomplish. Because honestly, in my eyes, I'm not where I want to be because I know how big, or I know what the brand potential is. Like to have potential, but not to reach your potential is two different things. So I feel like we still got a lot of potential and a lot of room to grow. And right now out here is still kind of down, and we do lift it up when we do see just the community in general giving us the feedback that they give us. They allow us to know that we growing and getting bigger, rather than us seeing things, whether somebody wearing a shirt or whatnot. The impact that we make through the shirts on people's lives is how we know that we're doing it.
So I know I saw you guys at Invest Fest, and it was a big thing when Diddy came over and was holding up the shirt in the video. So how do you guys come up with those like slogans that you put on the shirts? Because one of them is hip hop saved my life. So who comes up with that? Because you guys have the world in vision. There you go. Hip hop saved my life. There you go. There you go. I'm gonna make sure I put that in when I make the little promo reel. I'm gonna put it on there. But that's a slogan. So how did you come up with that? Who comes up with those?
Actually, this wasn't something that we came up with. So this shirt right here is actually a collab shirt with Rap Snacks, the chip brand. And so one of the people that's inside of their you know organization came up with the slogan. So what we was going for is just like the 50th anniversary of hip hop, and they just came up with hip hop saved my life, and it was like that's perfect. And then we kind of designed it, but they gave us that thought in mind to come up with. So really, like stuff like that became a collaborative effort. But a lot of times, we think about just like stuff that we say or stuff that we reading on a regular, and then we maybe switch it up. You saw how I just said, complex fails and simple scales. You may go out and hear that, but you may switch it because you said, complex fails and simple cells. So like, rewording things and putting it in your way where it fits your brand and your company.
One thing I do love about you guys, since we're talking about design, is I love one. You guys are not afraid of color, and
Appreciate it.
and so
Yeah, we got to make a
and
pop now.
yeah, I know. It's so funny because you see Nick, you see like you would not think just regular people on the street, somebody might pass by you not knowing how talented you guys are and all that you're doing. So what kind of conversations are you guys having where you're like, you know what, rainbow is our thing, let's go with some colors, let's do this? How does that design process work for you guys?
Honestly, like this stuff that it just like it's almost destined because like the Jesus tee, the Jesus shirt, the abstract Jesus, it kind of like brought us to that because the colors and people was exposed to that, so we kind of continued to run with that within our brand. But how we came up with that was just like we used to wear. You see how I got this chain on? We used to wear Jesus piece chains. Pretty much everybody wore Jesus piece chains. So we was like,
I
yeah,
got
we
one.
was like, why not put it on the shirt? So we ended up putting it on the shirt, and Nick was playing around in Photoshop with some different textures, and then that just popped up on the screen. Like he just hit a texture, and then voila, that was just on the screen, and we was like, yeah, that's it right there. And so we just started putting it on shirts, and then like the colors, people always attracted. They always say, I like the design, but I truly like the colors. And then from there, we just incorporated like colors within our like if you go on our Instagram, they got those colors within our logo. You see like the same colors that's around our logo behind me right now. Like we did different shirts that had colorful patterns on it. So it just like it just allowed us to just stick out. And it wasn't something that we was just like, oh, we want a whole bunch of colors. It's just what our brand became from what we were doing. And that's similar to what I was saying earlier. Like what you do, this is what people gravitated to. They told us that they like this. So I could have been like, I don't want all these colors and stuff just popping everywhere, but I'm gonna put my business in position to be such successful more than what I what like what makes me happy, because like ultimately we here to serve our customers. The business was created to serve people, not to serve me.
So, and I also wanted to just kind of piggyback on what you said, because the fact that you guys had been friends for a long time definitely made having a business relationship easier, because no matter what, you're going to have two different personalities. He might want to do something one way, you might want to do something another way. And that's why I think a lot of people struggle, because you have an idea and you don't know how to take creative criticism, or you might have something and you think it's the best thing, and you want to collaborate with someone, or you want to have like two people together, because obviously there's strength in numbers. So that person with resources, you with this. So how do you guys navigate that without you him saying, Marlon, this sucks. We not doing this, man. Like, how do you how do you guys navigate having a business relationship without taking things personal to make sure you're still being productive?
I mean, just being transparent. What we talk about and what we teach inside of our company is we play for the name that's on the front of the jersey and not on the back of the jersey. So just because I may want to run. We talk about sports a lot. So just because I may want to get the ball on this play, we right by the goal line, and I want to fade so I can score. Maybe it's better for us just to run it in. So it's not ultimately like I just want we just want to win. So at the end of the day, we're gonna base decisions based off of what's gonna get us to win. So in that moment right now, we would be like, just an example. All right, if we threw a fade ball 10 times previously and we only caught one, but when we was down here, we ran it 9, 10 times and we scored 9, then we need to run the ball. No matter like what neither one of us think, like what we did, so we can go back through our Shopify's, we go back through our data, we can go back through previous things that happened in history. We go look at all the stuff that we did before to help us make better decisions on how we should move forward. And then we go ahead and add our input off that. But main thing is the decisions are made off of the data and the information that we have inside of our company. And then when you're talking about just from a perspective standpoint, I think that is more for us of like iron sharpening iron. Like we talked about this the other day. The reason why we can continue to level up and we growing at a rapid rate is because we both continuing to grow and get knowledge. So like if you have a partner where it's like you the only one that's going to conferences, you the only one that's reading books, you the only one that's meeting other brand owners, then it may be harder for you to grow with your partner because they're not doing those same things. So they don't see the same things that you see. So we read some of the same books, we attend some of the same conferences, we have our own masterminds together, so we able to ultimately continue to elevate, together. No matter if he grew faster this week, I grew faster this week, we get the balance and bounce off each other.
And that's actually that is such good information, Marlon. And not just for as business partners, but I always have, because my new book, Somebody's Wife or Not, is about single life. So I always get these people to asking about single, and I get a lot of relationship people. And I think that's such an important perspective that you just shared, because that goes for the power couples as well. So everyone wants to have a power couple. They want to be a power couple, but you can't be a power couple. It's got to be both of you guys that are trying to invest in each other, that are, like you said, ongoing. I can't be the one carrying the load. We're never going to be a power couple, or because a lot of people like to have brands as a couple as well. Like we want to be like, I don't want to say, I don't want to throw everybody's name out there that's like these power couples, but everybody wants to be like that. But it's because they're both going in their parallel directions, and then what they can collaborate at certain points about certain things. So I love that you said that as well. So regardless of what the partnership is, you both have to be growing. Now, last question before we close is, I want to know, have you guys had an idea or a design that you thought was going to be a hit and it was like nobody liked it?
Yeah, multiple times, all the time. There's a lot of things. I mean, events we threw that we did where nobody came. So like at the end of the day, just from that statement in general, we choose to like learn from it and keep getting better. Like because even it could have been a great design, but guess what? Maybe the photography wasn't done. Maybe the copy and the text wasn't there. Maybe we didn't promote it long enough. So sometimes it's always different factors on why you didn't get the goal that you wanted to get. It may not have been where like the design actually wasn't good. So for us, we choose to like start reverse engineering. For us, we teach this in our community. Entrepreneurs solve problems for profit. And if you don't have problems inside of your business, then if you're an entrepreneur, you're probably looking to sell, or you looking to get out, or you looking to go do something else. Because as an entrepreneur, like when you see problems, it's like you like a firefighter. It's like woo woo woo, you come and put out the fire. So that's what we do all the time. So like when something doesn't go the way that we want it to go, honestly, that's when our light bulbs like click on, because now we actually have work to do to figure it out. So like if you having a bad drop and you just getting started, you just got to fire to put entrepreneurs solve problems for profit. And if you having you having a drop, and let's just say you're doing $100,000, and then you look back and you're like, dang, we only made $5,000. That's a problem. You got other stuff that you could go in. So either you seeing success and not seeing success, you should always be able to go back to the drawing board and like make it better.
Mm. You know, boy, you know what, Marlon? You should have a brand and a course. You got
Hey,
a
we
lot of
do.
information.
We have a. That's what I'm trying to tell you. We have a community, for like all ecom brand owners that's looking to like continue to grow themselves. We have a 3-day brand accelerator that we take people through, and that's usually from Wednesday to Friday. And then if you want to scale up and get even more access, we have an inner circle program, and inside of that we teach Monday through Thursday. So like entrepreneurs come to class Monday through Thursday like they in school. They also have other entrepreneurs in there that's gonna put you in a community, and like we meet up once a quarter for an inner circle experience. We just had one last week. Yeah, if you go on my, if you probably seen some of that content. If y'all go on my page, share my page, you can see some of the content where we bring in guests. We have sponsors. We talk and we network and we meet and brought them to a fashion show. So just exposing, the community to different things, different resources.
Okay, I love that. I love that. Okay, so tell everyone how they can. One, I'm gonna let y'all know. I'm waiting for it to get. I'm in Houston, so I'm waiting for it to get cool enough to wear my World Envision hoodie that I ordered because I love the colors. So make sure you go on there and you support and get you your fall apparel. Although I think if you're under 21, you can wear a hoodie when
Yeah,
it's 100 people. I don't know. Yeah, my kids, it'd be 200 degrees and they got a hoodie
that's what
on,
we
but
do now.
I digress. Marlon, Okay, so tell everyone how they can support you guys, your website information, drop y'all social media, whatever, all
Yep.
of that
So you can
information.
follow us at World Envision, and that's WRLDINVSN. All right. You can find our website at www.worldenvision.com. Once again, that's WRLDINVSN. You can follow me on Instagram at X Marlon Watts X. So that's X Marlon MARLON Watts WATTS X. All right. Full of content, full of information. Actually, we're gonna be doing our next inner circle experience in Houston. So I'm gonna reach out to you about that. That's gonna be December 15th. That's what we have right now on the schedule. So that maybe you could get a chance to experience what it's like.
Yes, yes, I'm all about the content too, so I'm gonna come with my little mini
Come on now.
microphone. I love it. I love it. So, thank you so much, Marlon, for all of that information. I hope that whoever's listening to this is definitely motivated. And that's the whole point about being healthy is that we have to have financial health, mental health, physical health. Health is not just one angle. So, hopefully, this is helping people either get a mindset because even if you don't want to start a business, you drop so much information that could relate into everyday life as well. So, that is Marlon
Appreciate
Watts, you
y'all.
guys.